Welcome to the second session of the program Għidli Storja, Tell Me a Story. Today we'll understand and practice storytelling skills. First of all, I'll tell you a story and then I'll share with you several storytelling skills. Skills of how I learned to tell the story. Once upon a time, there was a man who was always complaining about his fate. He was complaining about everything in his life, his family, friends, work, hobbies, during every seasons of the year. His friends were fed up listening to him and about him not becoming positive. They suggested that he should go to the wise old man at the top of the mountain. For sure, he would give him some wise advice. After some time, the man decided to go to the wise old man at the top of the mountain. So one day he set off to the mountain. He trudged up the mountain, and as he went up the mountain, he sang this song. I'm so unlucky as can be. I'm so unlucky, nothing works for me. And along the path, he came upon a sick old wolf. This wolf was lying on the ground with its tongue lolling out of its mouth. And the wolf asked, "Where are you going?" And the man replied, "I'm off to the wise old man at the top of the mountain. I want to ask him why am I so unlucky?" And the wolf replied, please, would you ask him why I am so sick and thin? Would you ask him?" And the unlucky man replied, "Of course, I'll ask him." And the unlucky man trudged up the mountain and sang, "I'm so unlucky, unlucky as can be. I'm so unlucky, nothing works for me." And this time he came upon tree, a tree which had no leaves and no fruits. The other trees were full of leaves and fruit. And this tree said, "Where are you going, man?" And the man replied, "I'm off to the wise old man at the top of the mountain. I want to ask him about my luck." And the tree replied, "Could you please ask him why I have no leaves and fruits? Why am I a barren tree?" And the man replied, "Okay, I'll ask him." Too. And he set off again. He trudged up the mountain and sang. If you'd like, you can join me in the singing. "I'm so unlucky, unlucky as can be. I'm so unlucky, nothing works for me." And he came upon a woman who was watering the plants in the windowsill of her tiny cottage. And she asked him, "Where are you going?" And the man replied, "I'm off to the top of the mountain. There's a wise man who could explain to me why I'm so unlucky." And the woman replied, "Would you please ask him why I'm so sad and lonely, if you please?" And the man said, of course, I'll ask him. I'm off. And again, he started trudging up the mountain and singing. I'm so unlucky as can be. I'm so unlucky, nothing works for me. Finally, he reached the top of the mountain, and there was a hut in which lived the wise old man. The unlucky man asked the wise old man about his lack of luck. And the wise old man replied, "Oh, you're lucky, young man. You have to look around you, and soon you'll find your luck." And the unlucky man replied, "Okay, so I'm off. I'm rushing home to find my luck. By the way, on my way to you, I met a sick old wolf, a barren tree, and a sad and lonely woman. And they asked me to ask you about their situation." And the wise old man replied to each and every question. And so this time the man rushed down the hill in search of his luck. And this time he sang this tune. I'm so lucky as can be. I'll look around so my luck I'll see. Soon he reached the cottage of the sad and lonely young lady. And she asked him, "Hey, did you ask the wise old man why I am so sad and lonely?" And the man replied, "Yes, he said that you should find a husband so that you feel happy." "Oh, really? Did he say so? So, are you married? Would you like to marry me so we'll be happy, you and me?" And the man replied, "Sorry, I'm in a rush to find my luck. Sorry, I cannot help you." And he started running down the hill singing the song. "I'm so lucky as can be. I'll look around so my luck I'll see." And soon he reached the barren tree. And the tree asked him, "Have you asked the wise old man about my problem?" And the man replied, "Yes." He said that you are without any fruit and leaves because there is a treasure chest in the ground. It's stopping you from reaching the soil and water. He said that you should find someone to dig up the treasure chest and you'll be okay again. And the tree said, "Oh, that was it. So, would you like to dig up the treasure chest? You could have all the treasure just for helping me, please." But the man said, "Sorry, I'm in a rush to find my luck. I'm off. Sorry, please find someone else to help you." And he started running down the mountain singing. "I'm so lucky as can be. I'll look around so my luck I'll see." And soon he reached the bottom of the mountain, and there still was the wolf, sick and tired, with its tongue lolling out of its mouth. You could now see the ribs through the skin of his chest. And Wolf said, "Did you ask the old man about my problem?" And the young man said, "Yes." He said that you are sick and tired because you haven't had a meal for quite a long time. So he suggested that you eat the first food that you meet. And the wolf did just that. That was the end of the man, and that's the end of the story. Okay, so that was the story, The Unlucky Man. I hope you enjoyed the story. So it's appreciation time. I look forward to listen to your appreciation. So, what was your favorite moment in the story and why? What did you like about my storytelling and the way I told the story to you? It could be about the language I've used, the movements I used, as well as the voice I used in terms of pace, fast or slow, with pauses, and the voices I've used for the young old lady, for the young lady, the wise old man, the barren tree, and the sick wolf, as well as the lucky, as well as the man when he was feeling lucky and unlucky. Okay, and if you were to tell the story yourself, which I encourage to do, which I encourage you to do soon, what would you change or what would you add to the story? Okay, so that's it. Storytelling followed by appreciation. And now I'll be sharing with you the skills of how I learned the story so that I could tell it to you. So I started with reading the story from a book. Then I practiced telling it by means of 4 steps, which make up the storytelling school's methods. And methods which use stories as a tool to learn language and the structure of stories. It is a fun, engaging, and effective method because in a fast way and in a fun way, one could learn a story to tell as well as write if you'd like. So, the first steps I told you about consist of hear, map, step, speak. So, after hearing me tell you the story, you were paying attention, you were listening actively. When I've invited you, you've participated, and we've done appreciation too. So, you could think about your favorite moments and about the way the story is told through language, movement, and voice. So I modeled to you storytelling. Then there is mapping, the drawing of the main moments of the story so that I can remember the story um, by just doing a map and looking at the map. Next, I'll be showing you how to map a story, to map this story, The Unlucky Man. So, mhm, that's the title of the story, The Unlucky Man. So the drawings will be simple, just to help me remember the parts of the story. I won't do more than 12 simple drawings. and it won't take me more than 10 minutes. So I'll demonstrate to you mapping, and I would like your help. So it will be shared mapping. I would like you to help me remember the main moments of the story. Mhm. So let's start. So, how does the story begin? Okay, so we've got a man who feels unlucky. Mhm. And that's him. His friend, what's next? And suggested that he should go to the wise old man. So he set off to reach the mountain peak. Here he is at the bottom of the mountain with a sad face, and here's the wise old man at the top of the mountain. Mhm. And the unlucky man starts to trudge and sing, to trudge up the mountain and sing. Next, yes, what's next? On his way to the mountain top, he meets a wolf who was lying on the ground. Okay. Next, further up the mountain, he comes upon a barren tree, just a trunk with roots and branches, no leaves and fruit. Here's my barren tree. Okay, next, what happens next in the story? He reaches a tiny cottage which lives sad and lonely woman. Okay, next. Okay, what's next? Yes, he reaches the top of the mountain. The unlucky man reaches the top of the mountain, and there he meets the wise old man. And here's my wise old man, bent on a stick. He has a long beard and the wise look. The unlucky man asks him his question and the questions of the wolf, the barren tree, the sick wolf, the barren tree, and the sad and lonely young woman. Next, yes, now the man runs down the hill, he runs down the mountain, and here he is, the wise old man still at the top of the mountain, and the man runs down the hill, and he feels happy now, looking forward to find his luck. Mhm. What's next in the story? Yes, he meets again the young lady. Okay, he tells her, "You must marry in order to be happy," and she proposes to him, "Will you marry me?" And he said, "No, because I'm in a rush." Okay, here they are. Okay, next. Yes, down the mountain, and soon he reaches the barren tree, and he tells it that under it there is a treasure chest, which is preventing it from reaching the soil, nutrients, and water. And the tree asks him, Will you dig up the treasure for me? And you could keep it too. But he said, no, I'm in a rush. Yes, the man feeling lucky, and here's the tree on the treasure chest. Okay. What's next in the story? Okay. Yes, the ending of the story where the man ends up eaten up by the wolf. Okay, so the wolf tricked him and he ate him up. Okay, and that's my map. Thank you for helping me do the map. So these main moments in drawing will help me remember the story. They help me remember it. The map help me remember the story whilst doing the map itself, and later on by looking at the map. Um, and so let me talk the map to you. So here's the moment where the man feels unlucky, and he is moaning all the time. This is the moment where the unlucky man trudges up the mountain to reach the wise old man. This is where the unlucky man meets the sick, tired wolf. This is where this is the moment where the unlucky man comes across a barren tree with no leaves and fruit. This is the moment where the unlucky man meets a sad and lonely young lady. Mhm. This is the moment where the unlucky man asks his questions and the questions of the wolf, the tree, and the young woman to the wise old man at the top of the mountain. This is where the man feels lucky and runs down the mountain to find his luck. This is where the lady asks the lucky man to marry her, and he said, no, I'm in a rush. This is when the unlucky man tells the tree, this is where the lucky man tells the tree that there's a treasure underneath it. The tree asks him to dig it up for her and keep the treasure, but he said, no, I'm in a rush. And finally, this is the moment when the man ends up being eaten by the wolf who tricked him. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. My map is made up of 10 moments. I've done it in a few minutes. Now it's your turn to do your own map. I'll put my map away so you will do your map whilst rewinding the story in your head. It will help you remember and understand the story. Mhm. After you do your own map, I suggest that you talk the map like I did by saying, this is the moment where, this is the moment where, this is the moment where. By talking the map, you will explain the main moments of the story through words. Mhm. Through your own words, and you could use the words used by your teacher or by your storyteller. Okay, so good luck with your mapping. Happy mapping. Remember, not more than 12 drawings in not more than 10 minutes. After mapping the story, talk the map. So you explain the story in words too. And now is stepping time. So stepping involves physical movements and words to help you remember the story. I'm sure that you have noticed that whilst I was telling you the story, I was moving on the spot with my hands, physical gestures, and sounds, so to make my story more engaging and interesting for you to listen, as well as help you understand the words I'm using. Ideal stepping is done by walking in a line, so it helps you move through the story from beginning till end. I will do my stepping on the spot so that I'm still visible in the camera. In order to help you understand my moving forward from step to another, I will pause between steps. Okay, I'll show you how to step a story. First, with just movements, and then I'll add words to my movements. Whilst I'm stepping using movements only, I would like you to think of the moment I'm stepping. So you'll be saying, that's the moment where, okay, that's way. So let me start. Hmm. Okay, so I'll add words to my physical movements. I'm so unlucky. Trudging up the mountain to the wise old man. Sick, tired wolf. Barren tree. Sad and lonely woman. Wise old man. You should do so and so and so, you'll find your luck. Mhm. Will you marry me? Dig up the treasure and keep it. Ham! Eaten by a wolf. And that was stepping physical movement and words to help you remember the story. Now I suggest that you do the stepping on your own. You can do it in pairs with another student. You can do it in a group or as a whole class. You could refer to the map, which you can put up somewhere visible in your class until you get confident with stepping, and you won't stop to think, because the physicality of the story gets in you. Now you're ready to tell the story in your own words. You'll tell the same story that the teacher told you in your own words, with words borrowed from the teacher and words that you can think of yourself. You can start off telling the story in pairs, where you take turns to tell the story. For example, student A starts to tell the story, and then after some time, it will be students B turn to continue the story where student A left off, until you get confident with telling the story from start to finish on your own, by telling it to a group of students and later on to a whole class of students, telling it confidently and fluently. Okay, so that was the four-step method of the storytelling schools for fluent and confident telling of a story after hearing it being told or after reading it. You can apply it to tell poems or even sing songs. Remember, first is hearing, followed by mapping, and then stepping, and finally speaking or telling. Mapping is the drawing up of simple pictures, not more than 12 in maximum 10 minutes, to help you remember the story whilst drawing and later on when you refer to the map, as well as stepping, the physical movements and words of the main moments of the story. So the story gets in your body and it will help you tell the story confidently and fluently. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the second session of the program Għidli Storja, Tell Me a Story. Before you go, I would like you to think about today's sessions. How did it feel? What did you like out of today's session? And what was difficult or challenging to you? So, that's all for today. See you in the next time for the next session. Take care. Bye bye.